Imagine receiving a raise at work. Your salary increases. Your bank account grows. For a moment, life feels easier. But a few months later, nothing has really changed. The extra income has quietly disappeared. A bigger apartment, a newer car, more subscriptions, more expensive vacations, more convenience. Somehow, earning more never seems to create lasting wealth. Why? Because for most people, income changes faster than behavior, and behavior determines financial destiny. This is the wealth trap. Many believe the path to financial freedom is simple. Get a better job, earn a higher salary, work harder, climb the corporate ladder. Yet millions of highly paid professionals still live paycheck to paycheck. Not because they don't earn enough, but because every increase in income is matched by an increase in lifestyle. Psychologists call this lifestyle inflation. As income rises, expectations rise even faster. What once felt like a luxury quickly becomes a necessity. The new car becomes normal. The larger home becomes standard. The premium lifestyle becomes difficult to give up. Soon, higher income creates higher expenses instead of greater freedom. Meanwhile, wealthy individuals often think differently. They understand that income alone does not create wealth. Assets create wealth. Income is temporary. Assets continue working long after the paycheck is spent. This simple distinction changes everything. Imagine two people earning exactly the same salary. One spends nearly everything each month. The other consistently acquires productive assets. Years later, their financial lives look completely different. Not because of income, but because of allocation. Money always flows somewhere. The question is whether it disappears into consumption or begins producing future value. Every dollar has a job. Some dollars buy temporary happiness, others buy permanent opportunity. The wealthiest people repeatedly choose the second option. This does not mean avoiding enjoyment. Life should be enjoyed. Experiences matter. Family matters. Health matters. But consumption without ownership creates dependence. Ownership creates freedom. The modern economy constantly encourages spending. Advertisements promise status. Social media rewards appearance. Consumer culture celebrates immediate gratification. Very few voices encourage delayed gratification. Yet history repeatedly rewards those willing to think beyond today. Compounding rarely feels exciting in the beginning. Small investments appear insignificant. Tiny improvements seem invisible. But over years and decades, the results become extraordinary. The same principle applies beyond money. Skills compound. Knowledge compounds. Relationships compound. Reputation compounds. Good decisions compound. So do bad ones. Every financial decision quietly shapes the future version of yourself. The question is never whether your choices matter. The question is what they are compounding toward. Financial freedom is rarely built through dramatic moments. It is built through ordinary decisions repeated consistently. Choosing ownership over appearance. Assets over liabilities. Long-term thinking over instant gratification. Systems over impulse. Most people spend years trying to earn more. The truly wealthy spend years learning how to keep, grow, and multiply what they already have. Because wealth is not measured by income. It is measured by the number of choices your assets can buy. Income pays today's bills. Assets purchase tomorrow's freedom. The greatest investment you will ever make is not simply in the stock market or a business. It is in becoming the kind of person who consistently makes decisions that compound. Because in the end, wealth is less about how much you earn, and far more about what your money continues doing after you've earned it.